Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's talk about how to protect yourself against ClickFix scams. So today, almost all malware gets onto computers through some use of social engineering. In other words, somebody needs to trick you to do something to install malware. It could be as simple as a download masquerading as legitimate software, and then you download it thinking you're getting one thing, you're actually installing another. So like with all social engineering attacks, the weakness there is you. You are being used to bypass any security on your computer to install the malware. Now, ClickFix is an increasingly common type of social engineering attack. What it's doing is it's having you take some malicious code and actually executing it yourself inside of an app like Terminal. Now, it sounds like it would be hard to actually trick somebody into doing that. But by using psychology and relying on big numbers, like sending out this to millions of people or having lots of people visit a website, they can usually get a small percentage of people. Let me show you how ClickFix works. Now let's say you're browsing a website and you get a typical little alert asking you to prove you're human. Lots of websites use this to prevent the website itself from being attacked or overused by automatic bots and processes and things. Usually you're just entering in some characters or identifying fire hydrants, something like that. But in this case, it asks you to do something a little bit unusual. This usually starts with you clicking a button or performing some action that will copy some malicious code to your clipboard. Then it's going to trick you into running the Terminal app or a similar app. So you may just use Command Space with Spotlight, search for Terminal, and press Return. And then using a simple Command V will paste in the malicious code and a return will execute it. You're essentially bypassing a lot of protections because you're actually pasting in code into Terminal and executing it yourself. Nothing automatic is being done here. You're actually the one asking your computer to do something very specific. So it's just obeying your commands. Sometimes instead of masquerading as a verification dialog, you'll actually get something that is trying to help you. Maybe you've searched for a solution to something and you find a web page that's providing that solution. And the solution is to copy some code, paste it in a terminal, and run it. Here's what one of these may look like. And it may not actually even ask you to copy anything because it already copied the code to the clipboard. A previous action you did on the page did that. And now it's just asking you to run, in this case, Script Editor instead of Terminal. Paste the code in there and run it. This can also execute things at the system level. It may prompt you for permission to do so, but if you've gone this far, you're probably just going to click OK and let it do that. But the idea here is you may be desperate. Maybe your Mac is telling you that the drive is full and you just need to get something done right now and it's not letting you do that. Or you're having some other issue, or maybe it's a made up issue on a web page. So you're doing a web search and you're coming up with a page that's offering a solution and you're desperate for that solution so you can continue with your work or whatever it is you're doing. That's what's allowing it to catch you off guard and do something you may normally be suspicious about. Here's one I found that is live and in the wild. I actually got to this web page by just doing a Google search. And when you go here right now, Safari is actually smart enough to give you a warning about this. So hopefully you'll stop right here. But at some point, this was a news site and this warning wasn't there yet. And the same could be true for other sites or just a copy of this exact website. I'm going to skip past this just to show you what it looks like. It pretends to look just like a page at Apple. If you're not paying close attention to the URL at the top, you may think you're actually at Apple's site here. And then it's asking you to do the things I just talked about. It's asking you to launch Terminal. In this case, it's doing that first. And then it's asking you to go back here and copy the script. You can't tell what this is here very easily, but it's actually just a URL to a website. And it's going to download what's at that URL, which is malware, and then it's going to run it. But the web page is going to happily continue telling you that it's something else, telling you it's something that can solve a problem on your Mac. Not true at all. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 3,000 others that support MACMOST through Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. I was easily able to make some examples of some benign code just to show you how this works. This first dialog here just asks you to verify something by performing these 3 simple steps. I'm going to click copy here and it copies the code to the clipboard. If you look down at the bottom, you could see the code that's being copied and you could see it's obfuscated. You can't tell what it is. Then it's asking you to press Command Space, type terminal and press return. So I'm going to do that. And then you could see it's asking me to do Command V and it pastes in what was copied there and then return. And in this case, my benign code just prints out some words. But there could be some very malicious things there instead. Now here's another example. Just 2 simple steps. This first step is using a special URL that's going to launch an app on your Mac called Script Editor. And Script Editor can execute AppleScript code and deliver a malicious payload. I've got something benign set up for this. If I click it there, it's going to ask me if I want to open Script Editor. And the web page may warn me that this is what's going to happen. So I may not be suspicious at all. Now it brings up Script Editor and inserts the code here. Now it's just some benign code that does a system beep, but could be anything here instead. Script Editor now in macOS Tahoe 26.5.2, maybe even a slightly earlier version, gives you a warning about this. Now it would be very easy to ignore this warning, click New Script like that, and then perform the next step, which is simply Command R to run that code. Now why does this work at all? Well, it relies on 2 things. First of all, very large numbers. It's not targeting a specific person. If you see one of these on a web page, well, it's not targeting you. Millions of people are seeing it. So they're just hoping that a few people will actually fall for it. Then, of course, in addition to that, it's lying. It's saying it needs this to verify to let you continue on the website or that this is going to help solve your problem. So it's lying to you about what it's doing. Now, if there's an urgency attached to that, then that's where people could fall for it. Because if you desperately need to get to the information on the other side of this, or you desperately need to solve a problem and you're in a rush and you're tired and you're not thinking, maybe the situation is set up just right at the moment that you don't see the warning signs, then you could be one of those few out of a million people that fall for it that day. So it's important to realize this could happen to anyone, as it's very easy to be put in a situation where you're not suspecting it at the moment, you're in a rush, and you're not thinking things through. Of course, you want to be worried about whether or not you're copying something to your clipboard, but it's not always very easy to tell if a web page is doing that. So a more common thing to look for is if it's asking you to run some other app, usually using Command Space or any other method to launch an app. The app could be Terminal, could be Script Editor. Also, Automator and Shortcuts are other apps that can run malicious code if you're not careful. So look out for those 4 apps. In order for this to work, most of the time you need to actually paste the code in. So look out for any instructions on a web page that tell you to use Command V or Edit Paste. And then pay attention to any warnings that you get. Right now, Apple looks at any code that you copied from a website and are pasting into Terminal and gives you a warning if it thinks it's malicious. The same is true for Script Editor. So pay attention to those warnings as well. And remember, this can come not just from a website, but it could also be an ad on a website. So in other words, the website is legitimate, but an ad has slipped through the advertising network that is tricking you into thinking it's part of the site. You're clicking on something there which is setting up the steps that lead to a ClickFix attack. Also, you could be getting an email message or a text message or a message over any other system where you could possibly get spam that is also leading you into this. So now hopefully that you've learned a little more about ClickFix scams, it'll be easier for you to avoid them. Education is the most important thing here. So tell your friends and family members about these kinds of scams too, and hopefully they'll stay protected as well. Thanks for watching and stay safe. Want to know about every new MACMOST video each week? Sign up for the absolutely free MACMOST email newsletter at macmost.com/newsletter.